What's going on, everybody? It's Josh Gaming here. We're going to do something a little bit differently today. Today I'm going to be doing a review of a review. You guys know I don't normally do reviews, but I'm going to be making an exception and reviewing GameSpot's absolutely atrocious video review that they put out for SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. I've played the original, and I grew up with it. I played that back when it came out, and I was like 8 years old when that came out, and I beat it as a kid, and I absolutely love the game. But I'm going to put all that nostalgia out of the way. I'm going to look at the review, and I'm just going to give it an open, honest-minded opinion at what they're saying, and I'm going to critique their review. For those of you that don't know, they gave the game a 2 out of 10. A 2 out of 10. So, let's see what they think warrants such a abysmally low score.
I'm Michael Hyam, reading for reviewer Funke Joseph. Nearing the end of SpongeBob's journey under the sea, you're tasked with guiding a ball through a giant Rube Goldberg machine in Mermaid Man's lair. Once you activate the machine, you have to match the ball's painstakingly slow speed while using SpongeBob's arsenal of bubble abilities to make sure it doesn't fall over. It's a simple task in concept, but trying to execute it is some of the most unfun and Sisyphean gameplay in recent memory.
Okay, so did I mention I beat this game when I was 8 years old? This isn't really that hard. Yes, this part is a bit annoying, but it's really not that hard, man. Come on.
In one section of the puzzle, all you need to do is stand on a button, and that button opens a gate for you to bowl a bubble into so you can progress. The only problem is that during SpongeBob's wind-up animation for bowling, he walks forward. That means you fall off of the button, which closes the gate and prevents you from bowling the bubble where you intended, when you intended.
Okay, dude. If you move forward off the pad due to your bubble throwing animation, maybe you should think and use a big brain and step back behind the pad, so when you roll, you will go on to the pad. It's not that difficult, man. Come on. A child could figure that out. I figured it out as a kid, as an 8-year-old. Come on, dude. Use some common sense here. It's not that hard. This is not Dark Souls, man. Come on. If you move forward, go behind the thing so that when you roll forward, you'll be on the pad. It's not that big a deal.
These kinds of gameplay barricades are common and force you to restart and face your demons again and again and again. SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated is rarely amusing or challenging, and completing it is an entirely dry experience.
So you just said it's not challenging, but at the same time you're struggling with a stupid bubble puzzle that is easily done by paying attention to your timing or standing behind the pad to get you to move forward onto it to roll the bubble. Like, you're contradicting yourself.
It looks nice and brings back fond memories of a classic cartoon through iconic set pieces and tight voice acting, but its uncomfortable and outdated mechanics make you feel frustratingly trapped and are ultimately outclassed by countless other modern and classic platformers. SpongeBob is a show built on rapid-fire humor and good pacing, but this game misses that mark. It took me around 20 hours to play through the main story and get a bunch of bonus collectibles, and from the movement to the jokes, the whole thing feels slow, with none of the comedic timing that makes the show so beloved.
Okay, so rapid fire humor. Maybe you didn't watch the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob growing up, but they didn't have quote-unquote rapid-fire humor. Their jokes were well-paced and well-thought-out and well-timed. They weren't just one right after the other, ba-da-da-da-da. A lot of the show was very slow-paced with their jokes in the first original 3 seasons, but they were funny. That's what this game does exceptionally well, is has the jokes paced out in a timely fashion. It doesn't have to be slapstick, goofy, hilarious joke all the time. And that's what I feel like a lot of the newer SpongeBob episodes lost out on, is it's just try to make you laugh 24/7 and it gets dull and repetitive. Whereas these and the old, first 3 and arguably 4th season of SpongeBob, they were well thought out, well timed, and it wasn't just rapid fire, ha 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 ha, all the time.
Why do you want all that artwork?
Don't ask questions you aren't prepared to handle the answer to.
It starts off when Plankton accidentally creates an army of uncontrollable robots that you have to defeat as a rotation of familiar faces: SpongeBob SquarePants, Patrick Star, and Sandy Cheeks. Your main objective is collecting golden spatulas, which are littered around the world and are used to unlock stages. Diving into the game is exciting at the beginning. The greater Bikini Bottom area is carefully reimagined into a clean, revitalized style that's popping with a new paint job. In a sense, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated functions as a SpongeBob museum, highlighting the environments that give life to the series. There's a keen attention to detail in recreating the original's charm, which is done well. But this underwater world's allure falls flat without quality of life updates that consider how differently we play today.
Quality of life updates? What do you want? They recreated the game perfectly. If they strayed too far and added too much different things to it, it wouldn't be the same game. What you're saying is essentially you don't want this game, you want a brand new game with modern mechanics and a modern style. Like, what do you want? Do you want this to be Call of Duty? Like, this is a kids game platformer, okay? It is a platformer from back in the day. What do you want, man?
After the first few areas, exploring quickly becomes a chore. Some spatulas are thrown at you for doing nothing, and others feel impossible to get due to bad camera angles and unexplained systems that you're somehow expected to know. That lack of consideration given to the spatula's locations is off-putting and causes the game to start dragging within the first few hours.
So I'm guessing you haven't played Mario Odyssey then, huh? Because those moons, some of them are ridiculously hard to find. Heck, I still don't have them all. There's so many, and they're in such hard to reach places, it really makes you think. Maybe the game should just play itself, huh? If this is too hard for you. You said there was no challenge, and now you're saying it's ridiculously hard to play. This is a kid's game. Come on. Which is it?
Movement is just as unpleasant. It's a constant wrestle match with the mechanics that are both restrictive and awkward to a point that they remove your focus from the current objective and makes you want to put the controller down. Moving platforms are slow, and you have to jump on them often. If you miss them, you end up bored sitting there looking at an idle animation for too long while you listen to the same short SpongeBob loop on repeat.
Okay, first off, you know Sandy has a lasso, right? You can use that to glide over to the platforms that are moving slow. This isn't Sonic. What? It's a slow platformer. Super Mario 64 style. What are you expecting? And second of all, The soundtrack has been praised by many, many people, including me, who grew up with this game, as being absolutely fantastic. It doesn't loop like, and you make it sound like one of those old 8-bit NES games where the music just loops after 4 notes. It's not like that at all. Not one bit. How did you come up with that statement? Did you even, listen to what you wrote when you were writing this review?
Even if you like Steven Hillenburg bangers, this gets annoying fast.
You've just met the Sponginator.
Once you ace a moving platform's weird rhythms, it doesn't mean it's over. Sometimes there are robots placed right at the end of those sequences that are too large for your character to move around properly because of their lack of mobility. It just feels cruel. There were multiple points in the game where I climbed up to the top of a high structure and a rogue robot knocked me all the way down into the water. Ironically, none of the protagonists can swim, so I instantly died and respawned at a checkpoint.
Have you never played, Crash Bandicoot or something? If you die, you go back to the checkpoint. Maybe time your jumps a little bit better, and then you wouldn't have got hit by that beach ball? Huh? This is how games were back then. Do you want the game to play itself for you? It's not hard. Yes, there are some tricky jumps, but that's part of the game. It's not that hard, and you're demonizing this game that, that's the problem with so many reviewers today, is that they want the games to play themselves, because they don't have time to sit there for 20 hours and struggle. They just want the game to be super easy and beat itself, and that's why we don't get games like this anymore, because so many reviewers are just like, I can't be bothered to beat the game, and I just want an easy experience, and this is too difficult, I can't handle it, I don't want to have to actually try to play the game. I want the game to just play itself, and I can just sit and look at nice, pretty cutscenes. And that's a darn shame.
Having to start all over is truly deflating. I'm willing to learn how to excel with a game's controls, even if they're difficult to grasp at the start. But with Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, it isn't a matter of understanding the controls and abilities. It's a case of the controls just not working well. It's fine for games to punish players for being bad, but this game just feels constantly punishing for no reason, and it doesn't seem to notice it or acknowledge it. Sometimes there are different ways to get golden spatulas, but the game also randomly blocks paths with invisible walls, rendering your attempt to get there useless and telling you that your solution isn't right.
So you're criticizing the game for you not being able to cheat the system and get the golden spatula the way you want to get it. That's absolutely stupid. I'm sorry, this review is destroying my brain right now, okay? This is absolutely idiotic and stupid. If you can't go that way, maybe that's not the way the game wants you to play, huh? Just follow the path that they set, and it's pretty clear what you have to do. They show you. This is a kid's game. I beat this when I was 8. It's not hard.
Walking into those walls feels like a slap in the face just for thinking creatively. The levels revolve around walking to recurring characters around the map, picking up tasks for them, fighting robots, and swapping between characters to utilize their strengths and complete the area. The loop could work, but you can't run in this game, or dodge, or swap characters conveniently. You have to walk around slowly.
Okay, so your complaint is that you can't swap characters conveniently. Do you know how much that would break the game? That you could absolutely break the game if you could swap between Sandy and Patrick whenever you wanted. It would not work. You could breeze through levels the way you're not supposed to. You could get yourself stuck and all these other things. That's... Think, man! My gosh! Think! It would be absolutely game-breaking if you could switch your characters at any single point in the game. Sections that you're not supposed to get to yet, you could be able to get to, because Sandy's lasso is absolutely great for getting around the map. You could very easily break the game. And again, that was something that was not in the original and should not be in this. And I'm glad they didn't do that, because that would have been stupid and would have broken the game.
Fight almost every robot in your path, with some areas that are way too packed with enemies, and frequently move back and forth to bus stops that are out of the way 90% of the time for character swaps. The fleeting fun I had during this game happened during the boss fights.
In this corner, defending the Poseidon, a small square guy. And his challenger, a huge murderous robot shaped like a squirrel. Look, it's a giraffe.
The cutscenes before the fights start are genuinely funny, backed by an intense synth tune, and each battle is commented live by a talking fish.
It looks like SpongeBob has an opportunity here. That's the ticket.
These moments are a bright light in the game and make it feel alive just for a moment. It's a delight to have the game make you laugh at these points, because most of the other jokes in it just don't hit. If you find you still have fond feelings about the original SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, you should watch a speedrun of it or find your old copy and dust off that PS2.
Okay. Okay. I need a minute before I explode. So you're saying that because the Rehydrated remake is exactly the same as the original, but a new coat of paint, that we shouldn't buy the Rehydrated remake, and that we should play the original, even though you're criticizing the fact that it is too much of the same thing. You're saying that the game doesn't do anything unique, it doesn't do anything different, and it's held back by its age. But at the same time, you're saying not to buy the newer version with the higher frame rate and the shiny coat of paint and play the original. What a contradiction.
This one isn't it.
No, your review ain't it, Chief.
Remasters, ports, and remakes are nice because they make games more accessible to new audiences, and the ones that excel understand that some features from the game's era are antiquated and should be updated or removed. SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated flops like a fish out of water when it comes to this. It's a game so focused on emulating and embellishing the original that it doesn't know the parts of itself that are fun and the parts that aren't. It lost sight of the basic elements that make a collectible platformer enjoyable. This game doesn't promote curious or keen gameplay, the movement isn't smooth, and gathering collectibles never feels rewarding. Ultimately, the game winds up being an unpleasant nostalgia trip that nobody should pack their bags for.
And there you have it. One of the absolute worst reviews I have seen. You contradict yourself so much with this, saying that, oh, the game is held back by its age and other 3D modern platformers do it better. I see no difference between the Insane Trilogy, the Reignited Trilogy. They all did the same thing. They are all products of their age. This is absolutely no different. It is a remake of a game, and a beautifully done remake at that. Purple Lamp Studios put so much time, so much effort into making this game, and you can see the love in it. You can see that they're fans of the show and that they care about keeping it the same. This is a kid's game. You say it's too frustrating and too challenging and too hard, yet at the same time you say it's too easy and it was a breeze to get through, and yet you complain that golden spatulas are out of place. you complain about invisible walls. And that you can be taken out of bounds if you go too far. You know what other game punishes you for going out of bounds? Grand Theft Auto 5. If you go out into the ocean too far, you get eaten by a shark. And it's insta-death. That's the same thing as Hans coming up and grabbing SpongeBob and pulling him off screen. Is that game worth a 2? No! My point is that, yes, this game has aged a bit. There are some mechanics, and I will admit, that just don't feel as good as they possibly could in this day and age. But that's not the point. This is supposed to be for kids and for adults who grew up with this game. The gameplay trailer or whatever completely shows that. 2003 or whatever, and you see the guy, he's a kid, and then you see him as an adult playing with his I'm guessing wife and children. That's who this game is meant for. People who grew up with the series and love it. And the funny thing is I bet this person hasn't even played the original. I absolutely bet you. Because if they would have, they probably would have gave it the same score. It's funny, because the original review for the original game got a 7. And this one gets a 2. If you give a game a 2, it better be so absolutely broken piece of garbage game that is near unplayable. Glitches, clipping through the floor, falling through the world, and, missing dialogue, missing this, I'm trying to even think of what a good example of a 2 would be. What was that crummy PS4 game that I played a while back that I made fun of? That is a 2. That game is a 2. This is not a 2. It deserves, and like I say, I'm not a reviewer. I don't review games. There's a reason I stay away from that, because I always try to find the bright side on games. But at the same time, I can tell when a game is bad, and this is not a bad game. This deserves at least a 7 or an 8. At least. Purple Lamp Studios did so much about it, and yeah, you can complain about Mr. Krabs having the same goofy voice, but apparently that was up to Nickelodeon. They wanted to get Clancy Brown, but Nickelodeon said no, keep the voices the same. A great thing to compare this to is the Medieval remake, New coat of paint. They polished it up, made it look great. Still has some clunky mechanics, but at the same time, it's a beautifully done remaster. It's so much fun. I absolutely love the Medieval remake on PS4. It's so great, and they even did the same thing like they did with SpongeBob, like I said, where they kept the same voices and just, recreated it. And, this game does not deserve a 2. It is better than that. And at least IGN, as bad as their review was, just as bad, they at least gave it a 5. I can't believe GameSpot with a 2. Yeah, so and it's funny, if you look, the on Metacritic, the user score is ridiculously high, and pretty much every single other outlet that I've seen, Kotaku, Push Square, PlayStation Universe, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones, but they all gave it at least 7 or 8s, and the ones who didn't give numbers gave good mentions of it. So, don't listen to this review. If you love SpongeBob and grew up with this game, or even if you haven't and you'd like to try it for the first time, I recommend you guys go pick this up. It comes out on June 20. It's out June 23rd, and which I believe should be passed by the time of this recording. But yeah, just go pick this game up if you love SpongeBob. If you're like me who grew up with the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob, this is an awesome game. If you love platforming games, this is something for you. If you don't, then I recommend staying away from it. If you're not into like Super Mario 64 platforming type gameplay, or it's very akin to that. A lot of people even compare Jellyfish Fields to Bomb Battlefield from the first level in Super Mario 64, and it is very similar. So that's all I can really say about this. The reviewer should be ashamed of themselves, and GameSpot should be ashamed of themselves for allowing this person to review this game. If I guarantee you this person has not played the original or didn't enjoy the original in the first place. Why would you do that and have that person review this kind of game? That's absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid. Again, please. Another thing I wanted to point out before I end this. Again, comparing it to the Insane trilogy and the Reignited trilogy, which is, I'm sure, what he was doing there. With Crash and Spyro, both those teams had at least 200 people working on those remakes. With this, Purple Lamp Studios is only about 40 people, I believe. That's a big difference. And for them to make this as absolutely amazing as they have, it's not even a full price game. That's another thing you got to consider. They're not even charging full price. It's a $30 game. So, take that with what you will. For what they managed to do for the small team that they are, of incredibly talented people, to make this game look as beautifully as it does, and just remake this beloved game from so many people's childhoods. They did a great job. So, thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this. Did you agree with GameSpot? Your opinions are your own, my opinions are my own, and everybody's entitled to their opinions, of course, but I would love to hear your thoughts and what you think about the game, and if you picked it up, if you've been enjoying it, or not, if you, like I said, if you guys agree with GameSpot, and maybe I'm just completely wrong. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.